Welcome. Good to see you guys. Erin, thank you for agreeing to do this.
You're welcome.
Gio talked her into hanging out
Didn't
with
take
us.
much talking into. It was just a text.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
That's
I love your social capital, Gio. Erin, it's good to see you. So we're here with Erin Maresko, who is the director of, I think I'm getting this right, business development manager at Kiln.
Yes.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, Erin is in the real Kiln location in Salt Lake. I'm in the Lehigh, Utah location virtually, and Gio is in the Portland location virtually. And they are all stunning. I've been through probably with you, Erin, the Salt Lake location and the Park City location, both for Lexi visits. They're fabulous. My favorite is the plant room. I mean, you're in a plant room right now.
Yeah.
We're just like, in Park City.
Yeah. The plants take an army of plant people, waterers, I don't know, gardeners.
The service involved.
Oh, I heard for the first time indoor landscaping the other day. And I was like, I guess that's very accurate.
Okay. I love it. I know I can see some greenery in the Portland location. Actually, in my location too, I can see it in the way.
Yeah, it's kind of everywhere.
I love the Kiln aesthetic. So, okay, where to start? Let's talk about you, since you're a little bit behind the scenes. I bet there's a lot of people who don't know you. So you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, I think so. That's what people tell me.
Yes. Okay, so tell us about your background, and then we'll dive into what you're up to now.
Yeah, so I started out as a freelancer doing graphic design and web design back in 2013 or 2014. And then I came across my first co-working space that was a couple blocks from my house, 25 North Co-working, their first location in Geneva, Illinois. And I saw the benefits of it, joined right up, and then started kind of worming my way into that world. So I started with doing some trades for membership, and then I ended up working with the ladies there for the next 8 years or so. So
I know. I was thinking about, for some reason this morning, I was like, I think it's been like 10 years. It was a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying 8 for a while. It could be close to 9. So yeah.
Wild.
And a portion of that you were actually remote, living in Alaska.
That is true. Yeah. In 2018, I moved to Alaska, and 25 North was gracious enough to let me work for them from there. So it kind of was serendipitous because the pandemic started like soon after I'd moved there. So we'll never know how well it would have worked because everyone went remote. So
you were just normal at that
point. It was just normal. Yeah.
Okay. And since we're uncensored, I think that's the only reason I got you to do my website was because you were moving and you needed furniture.
Yep. There you go.
So my current website, if you're listening around now, I was just telling her I'm updating it. Erin did, and I love it. And it served me very well. But you are also like a bit of a unicorn because you have an MBA.
I do. Yeah. I have an MBA in communication design, which is kind of, no one really knows what that means. I don't either. It's really kind of like a design and marketing kind of mix there. So I learned a lot of like nuts and bolts of design while having it be all applicable to the real world. So that was exciting. And when my experience there was really great. I had a professor who brought me on to his little extracurricular firm. And then, I never had to get a real job. I just kind of launched into doing my own thing afterwards. So it was a great experience. So
well, I feel like it's unique and just makes you uniquely talented. I mean, I only got to work closely with you a little bit on the website, and I was just like so impressed at your brain, like creative side, but also like really applied to to the business world. So, and obviously that's probably served you well.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Served me well, work and co-work.
I know. So wait, how long were you in Alaska?
5 years.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That went so fast.
In Alaska.
I know. Anchorage.
Wait, Gio, you were just in Alaska for a trip.
Yeah, he was fishing.
That was not in Anchorage.
No, you were down in the Southeast, right?
Pelican.
Pelican. Yeah.
He called me like one time and he's like, okay, I'm standing next to the library stealing their internet. This is the only way I can talk to you.
And by library, I mean it's a shack with books in it.
Yeah.
That's about the extent of the library.
One of those
70
lending
people live there year round.
Yeah.
But so when you started with 25N, kind of what was your role? How did it evolve over time? I mean, give people a pretty good idea about that.
Yeah, so I started out like they needed help with social media. They needed help expanding the functionality of their website. Anything from like, hey, we need a brochure for this, or hey, we're starting our email newsletter. They were tapping me on the shoulder for that. But eventually it just got to be more, and the discussion got to like, well, what does this look like as you scale? Do you need someone like me? So I made up a bunch of titles as we went along the way. So I ended up as the chief growth officer or something like that. But mostly marketing, and then got into integrated marketing and sales. And then I met Kiln. So here I am in a sales role.
So just to finish the timeline. So you relocated recently.
Yes.
Yeah.
So going back to the GWA conference in Dallas, I had met the Kiln team there, and I actually had never heard of Kiln before that. So it was at the end of the day, maybe like the third day of the conference, and Mara had said like, hey, there's some people from Kiln. They want to come over and see our location in Frisco. And I was really tired. It was like the hour.
Like, I need a nap.
And I really wanted to say no, but nobody else would go. And so I was like, okay, fine. So yeah, things just clicked with them in a way that I was kind of personally coming to the point where it's like, oh, well, we missed the part. I have a 2-year-old now, but I was like, he was brand new at that point, and I was thinking about leaving Alaska anyway because childcare was really hard. Didn't have any family up there. So those kind of changes were going on too. And yeah, we just clicked really well. And yeah, made the trip. Yeah, if you get that joke.
Wait, so are they headquartered in Salt Lake, or did you pick Salt Lake because that was just a good fit for you?
No, they're headquartered in Salt Lake, and actually at the Lehigh location is like our corporate
got it
HQ, and then that's about like a 20 or 30 minute drive to downtown Salt Lake. Okay. So right now we've got Park City, Lehigh is the HQ, and that's about a 25 minute drive from downtown Salt Lake. And then another 30 minutes down the road is Provo. And we just opened that in late September. So,
yeah. So how many total locations?
We have 10. I knew you were going to ask. I always have to count in my head. We have 10 open right now. And we have, 6 signed and underway. Wow. So we'll be opening. We have our first like Phoenix area location opening at the end of the year, and then shortly followed by Littleton, Colorado. So we have a Boulder location.
Phoenix?
Gilbert.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Gilbert's really cute. I have a member who's in Gilbert, and I've been to her space. It's really, and Phoenix.
Awesome. Yeah, I haven't been down there yet, so that's cool.
Go in the winter.
Good things. Okay. Yeah. My colleague, she was going down there to give tours like over the summer, and she's like, it's 114 degrees. She had one of those neck fans, and she's like just shameless about it. She's like,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, they're like walking
upstairs. This is how I roll.
Yeah.
This is where someone would say, but it's a dry heat, but it doesn't freaking matter.
Yeah. It's a dry heat in Utah. In Arizona, it's like death.
So tell us about your role now, and did it exist, or did you have to kind of create it?
Yeah, so I had been, they didn't have any like open roles when I had met them. I expressed some interest, and then my buddy Luke Wills texted me And he, who works for Lucid Private Offices now, he texted me and he's like, hey, did you see that Kiln has a business development manager role open? And I actually had, and I was like, yeah, I saw that. And he was like, well, you should look at it. Like, you could do that.
He's like, I'm
And
connecting the dots. Why don't you connect those dots?
exactly. And so I kind of read it. I was like, yeah, I would do that. Yeah, I could do that. And so total kind of not 180, it's more of like a 45-degree shift into a sales role and business development. And I basically just convinced them that like, nope, I want to do this job and I'd love to join you. And I had to, you know, they knew me well from the beginning. They were like, we need you to be like interested in this role for a while. Like, we're not like, you can't come in. And I was like, oh, so you know me, you know, I'm a wild card like that. So yeah, but I've been really happy in this role. It's like, you know, I have no regrets, and the team and the culture here been so good to me. And yeah, it's like, phew, I was right. I just moved, you know, 5,000, 6,000 miles, and yeah.
You guys take your dog,
Yeah.
who's not supposed to be on the couch, but is on the couch.
Yes, he's on the couch. Yeah, so it was about, I signed my offer letter, and then like 3 weeks later I was starting. It was bananas, and I don't recommend that for anyone, but we started just like selling all of our stuff. We got one of those storage containers that you can ship. I shipped my car to Seattle and picked it up. Then drove with a 1.5-year-old from Seattle to Salt Lake. It was something.
Memorable. It was memorable. Oh no, you've blocked it out. Okay. So is your role like customer acquisition? What are you in charge of?
Yeah. So I currently am responsible for all of the Utah locations. So it's really kind of an ownership role in that you own the revenue. So you're owning all of that stabilized revenue, responsible for whatever it takes to get there. So I work really closely with the teams at each location to kind of both do targeting and forecasting, direct sales. I do a lot of work with outbound, like outreach, doing that research. Yeah. And kind of, you know, they don't report to me, but it's kind of like an accountability front. My boss, Jeff, describes it as like, I'm the cool aunt.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's something that, you know, I really like it because it's, you know, whatever it takes, kind of a problem solving role. And then I really enjoy the part of it that's empowering each team at the site to like own it. You know, retention is so huge in co-working that, you know, I think that if you don't have the teams like own the revenue or own the sales and take responsibility for that, you'll have so much more churn. And I think you run the risk of really like infantilizing your team in the spaces if you like tie their hands behind their back and don't let them like do the sales and do those important relationship buildings, more like account management, I would say, on the ground.
What is the typical size of each location?
Ooh, that's tough.
Ish.
So
20,000.
So ish. So
Yeah.
the Salt Lake location that I'm in right now is 55,000 square feet.
Wow.
Lehigh has 78,000 square feet. Now we're really kind of aiming for that 25 to 35. It seems like we're going to still be kind of hitting 40, but you know, we have little locations too. So like Park City's 20. We've got 3 San Diego locations
that are smaller
They're
acquisitions.
all, those are acquisitions. So those are smaller, but kind of grouped together as one. So
I love to call 20,000 feet small.
I know, right?
Well, compared to 78, it's all relative, right? All of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, that's like a mini space. But you have multiple people at each site.
Yes.
So, because that's always the tension with the local team, right? Is like, right. What do you put on their plate? What do you not put on their plate? So you've got a little bit of room to sort of work with what their responsibilities are. That's a huge advantage of scale.
Well, that's something too, that's like a huge differentiator for me. I mean, I think our members feel that, but they may not on the outset, you know, when they're first touring the space, they may not realize how valuable it is to have just like more than one person even. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's, you know, when I saw Kiln, I was like, wow, there's people everywhere. So even like our Lehigh location, there's like 5 people that run the show there. So I think each site, we've got at least 3, like 2 full-time, 1 part-time is like the minimum we would have. And it really makes all the difference. So someone's really and someone just takes ownership of like the whole property and everything that's going on. But then we have separate like member success, which is more on that sales and retention side, and then member experience, which is all about our events and meetings. And yeah, they do all of the like event side, meeting room side.
So what do you do for fun outside of work?
Kind of the same things I did in Alaska. We're starting to get some snow down here, so I'll be skiing, but there's a
You
lot
are
of
really outdoorsy. So I follow Erin on Instagram. I mean, I kind of miss your Alaska photos. Actually, I don't know if I've seen any. Maybe you're too busy. Yeah. Like, where's
all
the
I do
fun,
is
Erin?
like randomly I'll post my kid now. It's really boring. So
I mean, because in Alaska, all the I mean, you would do crazy things. I'd see pictures of you with like the kid and the carrier and like 10 feet of snow with the dog and and you're out in like the wilderness.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. I couldn't have just, no matter what I thought of the company, I couldn't have moved just anywhere.
For work.
Everything had to kind of fit, which is kind of why this was an opportunity. I was feeling the stress of like being alone in Alaska with a kid. I have my partner too, but not having parents. I mean, and daycare was like non-existent. We couldn't find childcare. And so that pressure combined with like the prospect of actually moving to the lower 48, that was kind of like the trigger for making the change. But yeah.
You're a snowboarder.
Skier.
I
think I snowboarded when I was in high school. So I could maybe do it.
You taught Luke how to ski.
You're athletic enough. You could do it.
Okay. I taught Luke how to ski.
I did. You're so patient. I was like, oh my God, my 3 could never like teach an adult how to ski. I mean, he's very athletic too. So I'm sure he was like a pretty good candidate, but
he is, but it's more of like his personality. Like it didn't matter. And I kind of like with skiing, it's just like, I think if people care like how good they look or how dumb they look, like it's
totally
it can get in the way quickly. Yeah, but Luke's just like, hey, here we go.
Gotta love Luke.
Yeah.
So what do you do when it's not snowing outside? I mean, hike?
But yeah.
Bike?
Yeah, hiking. It's like the weather is real. I don't mountain bike because that's like it's not an
accident waiting to happen.
It's a when.
Totally. That's how I feel.
Our CFO just went over the handlebars and destroyed his shoulder like last week. He had surgery. He's got pins all in it now. Yeah. So
I'll road bike. I'm not going down a mountain.
Yeah, I did. I bought a road bike. So we don't really have good bike paths in Alaska, but here cycling is huge. So
all right. And what's the baby's name? I don't think I know the baby's name.
Rhett.
Ren?
Rhett. RHETT. Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Okay. And will he start skiing soon?
Yeah, he'll start skiing this year. Yeah. Well, yeah, we have this snowboard that we can drag around on the carpet that he'll balance on, but
it's a good start.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite, going back to your role there, what's your favorite thing about your role there?
Oh, I think it's the people. I get to work with a lot of different people, and every site is so unique with the teams that work there that it's just a lot of fun to see how they're different and see how they're the same. So it's a really great brand to work with. I was just telling someone that, I think that people see Kiln and they're like, oh, beautiful design, beautiful spaces. But once you're in it and once you're a member, it's about the people that are there. It's really hospitality that sets us apart. It's our food and beverage. It's the thoughtfulness of our employees and the way that they're trained to treat our members. So yeah, it's interesting. I would say that's what we do best, not necessarily the design.
Yeah, I mean, the hospitality side has always been incredible. I've been to the Colorado Springs, or not, sorry, the Boulder location multiple times. And every time I walk in, it's always completely I'm on point, right? And I tell people, you can tell in the first 30 seconds of walking in a space if it's successful or not by the way the space looks, how you're greeted, and just, how you feel overall. And so it's always
Yeah.
felt really good there.
Yeah, it has a great energy, and truly the people I get to work with are my favorite part. And celebrating success, we're really great at that as a company. So yeah.
And I've gotten, go ahead. Yeah.
What do you think drives the culture? Where does that come from?
Well, our hiring process typically takes around like 6 months, I would say. So we're very slow to hire, which means that we really see how committed people are, to the role and to joining Kiln. I don't know if that's really a complete driver, but there's a lot of care that goes into, is this the right fit? And it's both for the candidate and for the position and for the culture. So it's kind of something that we don't take for granted. It's a hot topic right now as we're growing and scaling. Like, how do you scale the culture? But really, there's such diverse like personalities and backgrounds that work here. I guess acceptance is kind of the culture driver too. So we work really hard, but it's because everyone wants to work hard for each other.
How many employees?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think we're hitting about the 70 mark. We've got some interns on the design and growth and marketing side. It's hard. I haven't worked for a company that is this big before, and it's kind of like I joined at the time where we're really exploding. So there's people I'm having to come to terms with, like, I may not get to know you at all, or I might hear a name and I'm like, who is that? But we're giving it our best shot for everyone to know everyone's name.
What's the strategy for new markets? Like one in Gilbert, like Gilbert seems like kind of a one-off. Will there be more in that market, or?
Yeah, there will be more in that market, and pretty much in any market that we choose. It's really like lifestyle driven, because our value proposition goes really well with people who have the like beach life or the mountain life or that kind of flexibility. So really lifestyle driven there. But I think that the goal is like choosing the markets carefully, choosing the location carefully, and then as far as having a hub there, it just makes the most sense to have more than one. So for travel and everything. So
Yeah, I've been working on Phoenix for a while. Yeah, I looked at a couple different things. And I think that's the thing I loved about Arian and Bright, my time with them, is they're very methodical, right? Arian is very strategic and thinks through everything before he really makes a decision.
Yeah. And I think that's part of Kiln's success, is that Arian is able to bring in, he knows his greatest strengths and his greatest weaknesses, and he will bring in the people to kind of, come up with the best solution and come up with the best decision, so that we're not just like mired in inactivity. So he,
Doesn't assume he knows everything. This is a
yeah,
total side note.
he's surrounded himself with people with experts, and that's one thing that he strives to bring in, that expert level as we scale. I think that's kind of the strategy there, is to get people who are more specialized. I think the co-working industry, you can get a lot of like jack of all trades people involved, and that's part of the growth strategy, is getting the specializations involved in both design and sales and marketing and everything.
I'm curious about your typical member. Is it more like startup, entrepreneur? Because you have some big locations. Do you have enterprise members? What does it look like?
Yeah, so we kind of do it all. And we have one product that's different is our studio spaces. So those are larger offices. It starts at about a 12-person office that has interior offices within it. So that's, I know some companies
I love the idea of that
but
product
it's,
where it sells well.
yeah, it does. And I think we get a lot of requests for exactly that. I think there are assumptions out there that, co-working spaces don't have something like that, but for like broker inquiries, it's kind of always
I was
that
just
way.
thinking we have to
And
start
it's
using you as an
hard.
example. Kane and I are teaching a course to Avis and Young brokers, and we're always trying to come up with examples of who has that product because it's really
Yeah,
broker friendly, and we're trying to help them understand how to sell it basically and
yeah,
get over like their misconceptions about price and things like that. We'll have to
yeah.
add you to the slides.
No, it's totally whatever you need in that regard, but it's something where you try to get around it with a value proposition of look at all they
Yeah.
get, look at the common
Mhm.
areas. But when it comes down to it, you can't compete with traditional office if they need those private spaces
Yeah.
unless you put them within that space.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, otherwise, we have like in Salt Lake, our biggest office is a 55-person
Wow.
suite. So we have, I think, yeah, there are like 48 or 50 people that come regularly there, all the way down to, our club and resident desks. So every location has, the single, we don't do any one-person offices. We
Huh.
start,
Really?
yeah,
None.
none, but a lot of people will use them as just one
Yes.
person.
Like yes,
offices.
the
They can fit.
interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So no,
So
like we work micro offices.
yeah,
The
no,
36, like just a desk, please.
you have to stand. And then we go like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, kind of standard stuff. And then once we hit the 12 mark, that's where we start putting interior offices in.
Cool.
Now, part of the unique model, like in talking to Arian and Brighton when we were in Boulder, is the membership base. Most people don't have a membership base the size that y'all do for the social aspect and all that stuff. Because you have a huge space that's common area co-working, like true open co-working, at least in that Boulder campus. Is that pretty accurate and consistent across the entire portfolio, or do you want to talk about that because that's not normal?
Yeah. You mean like how engaged the membership?
No, just how many people there are
Oh,
that actually
yeah.
have memberships. Most places,
Yeah.
really, the driver is the private office, and you're hoping to pick up some memberships. But I want to say it was like 200 and over 200 people were
Company.
members in Boulder.
Yeah. I think at this point, we're in the thousands for members and higher for, individuals too. So it's, we're excited to see the cross pollination of like, as we grow our locations in the West, how the membership will be shared among those spaces. We already have companies. We have a few that are both in Salt Lake and at our Meridian, Idaho location. So companies will grow with us. But as far as how many people go, these big spaces, it's great for like our social events because you always get a turnout. I think it's really hard when you have smaller spaces to do a really great events calendar because just some people just want to go home or you just don't get as much engagement. But with us, there are just so many people that even if a small percentage show up, you've got a packed house. So we're also really great at food and beverage. It's something that before I even knew about Kiln, it was like food and beverage, and Convene was doing a lot with that. And people were kind of talking about it as though it were the future, but it's been happening at Kiln for a long time as far as curating food, giving breakfast, and we have snacks in the afternoon, just having really elevated dining opportunities. We do a Kiln lunch, member lunch every month, which is like long table family style. We have a caterer come in, and then we do our après work event every month, which is like a charcuterie board on steroids. It's, people really gather around food, and Kiln has understood that from the beginning. It's the glue.
So I see Jamie's wheels spinning. So while her wheels are spinning,
I'm gonna send her the address for the location that I want them to look
that's
at.
hilarious. I can tell you were doing something over there, very
I'm like,
focused.
food and you're
You're
speaking
like,
my
"That sounds
language.
delicious." Yeah.
Totally. Go
So
ahead.
both personally and professionally, what are you most passionate about? Just in life.
Personally, I think everything that I do is for my son now. A lot of, I check myself all the time because I know what it's like to have a parent who like does not like their job. And as when you're a kid, it's really amplified, and you're like, everyone hates to work. No one wants to go to work or do their job. And as I grew up, I think that kind of rubs off on you. And I think that's a common thing for, the baby boomer generation to really, you're bred not to like work. So I really want to demonstrate that possible to love what you do and be fueled by that. And yeah, have a positive example for him. So it's kind of like both a personal and professional goal is to just love what you do. And it sounds sappy or whatever it is. It sounds trite, but it's true.
Yeah, it just makes it so much easier when you are passionate about what you do, right? It's work. I tell people that all the time. This is not a hobby, it's work. We can enjoy it, but it's not supposed to be easy, right? And I think that's where we grew up in a generation where it was like, just do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Well, that's not necessarily the case. It's still work, right? If that was the case, you'd be skiing and road biking or hiking all the time, right? But I think that's the hard part when we get caught up. So, favorite place to travel?
Ooh. Well, now it's going to be Alaska because I have to travel to get there now. Can I switch the question and say I really would like to go to all the national parks that I'm now surrounded by. I really haven't. I've never been to Yosemite or Yellowstone, anything. So I've been to Southern Utah a little bit, but we're actually opening a location in St. George, which is right outside Zion. So I might have to really help with that location a lot.
Totally. You're like, I'll be on the launch team for that one. Yeah.
So
I'm in on this for sure.
Yeah, Utah's amazing. My daughter's almost 12 and she's like getting to that age where she'll appreciate all of that. I can't wait to. I know you'll take your kid and strap him on and have at it, but yeah, I can't wait to do those with her.
Yeah, me too.
I know, because you were in the Midwest. You went Midwest and then right. So you have not really been in proximity of all the cool places to go.
Horizons.
So I'm just flipping back to one more work related question. I'm curious about your outlook. I mean, you guys are expanding. So you're one of the brands that's growing. There's so many challenges with growth right now. Sometimes I talked to an operator the other day. She's in a really tough market. She's like, sometimes I just wonder, is everybody just fine at home? Like, what's your outlook on co-working? I mean, because you're in it, right? You're trying to fill up locations and grow membership. What are you optimistic? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel very optimistic about it. I think we're in a time of change. I think that, I always go back to how much we owe WeWork. I've never been on the train that's like really against them or that it's a dirty word. Kane Wilmot, he just like came out with an article or whatever and quoted talking about that, and I was like, yes, like we need WeWork. So I think that the outlook is still really great. I think WeWork is in the same boat as everyone, where, we're going to have to get past some of these markets so our Lehigh location, for example, is just in the middle of some incredible subleases that are available. The traditional office options that are out there, they're getting smaller, more boutique, better designed, better, there's better amenities, and it's really hard to compete with those bottom prices. So we even in that location, we can see WeWork across the highway and spaces. And like that is our competition, yes. But if you really dig deeper, it's like some markets are just all the office space is available, empty, dirt cheap, and some of it is move-in ready. I actually reached out to the WeWork, like the area sales manager, and we had lunch. Like he came over to Kiln.
Wow.
Yeah, so we like had a little powwow, and we're just like, how's it going? Like this or that. Like, even though, they have a different strategy as far as their sales go right now, but it's all the same that we're competing against these larger CRE offerings.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, in Salt Lake here, it's, there's like 30% vacant office space available. So it's really, I think we're going to be going through a big transition, but this, a co-working as an offering isn't going to go away. People want to be here. We hear over and over, like, I just don't, any deal that we lose, it's like, I can't, I would be a bad business owner if I did not take this other space.
Yeah.
I want to be at Kiln. So it's kind of the thing where we have to wait for them to try it out and come back.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, go pick out all your own furniture and set it. I mean, to your point, there's starting to be some good alternatives to doing it from scratch yourself, but
yeah. So I think the subleases are the biggest risk factor to growth right now, but there are also markets out there that are really untapped. Some of our locations, we have like no competition whatsoever. And, where some locations can be really challenging to get to and stay at stabilized just because of how competitive you need your pricing to be. There's other spaces where it's like you really can, maximize your position, get your brand out there, and really, you'll be able to stand up against anything that comes your way if you're hitting it at the right time. So there are markets out there that are just perfect. So yeah.
So last question for me, and then Jamie always gets the last say, or I'm gonna make her feel that way, but sometimes we trade off on that one.
Should.
So kind of looking crystal ball, next 12 months, what do you see going on with Kiln? What do you see going on with the industry? What excites you about kind of where we are?
Well, for Kiln, I'm really both excited and scared because we are opening a lot of locations very quickly. I think we came to the conclusion that we could potentially be opening 6 next year. And that's something that for our size, we're going to be like doubling in like a year and a half. So it's really exciting, but also scary, but in a good way. For the industry, like I said, I think that there's kind of like that churn. I think that, I think we're in a good position, but I think the industry is too. If you can last through this turnover of traditional space and subleases in some of these like highly competitive markets, I think the outlook is great. And again, you might have some members that leave and come back.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting time where I think we are going to see some of those shifts and changes. We're going to continue to see consolidation, right? As we're seeing already.
Yeah.
So
the consolidation thing is true as well. And I hope Kiln is one of those that is consolidating. So I think that single operators or very small operators they have their place in this industry for sure. And they just have to find the right market and the right fit. And there's enough to go around.
Love that. Okay,
Right,
my
then, that's
wrap-up
all you.
question. What's your karaoke song?
Oh, I avoid karaoke as though it, yeah.
All right, let's see. How about your like get fired up song?
Anything Taylor Swift. I'm sorry, I
Ooh,
gotta say it.
Okay.
Wow,
I
that one caught me off guard.
Me too.
That one
I
caught
love
me off
it.
I don't
guard.
come off as a Swiftie.
No, I thought it'd be something a little more rocky.
Yeah, I would too, but I don't know.
A Swifty.
I'm not
Alright.
alone. Yeah.
Get fired up kind of
You got the
girl.
bracelets and everything going.
No, I actually don't even know what you're referring to, but I do like her music.
So apparently they wear bracelets at these
Yeah.
concerts and they trade friendship bracelets. Jamie,
Oh,
you
like with
sound like
beads.
you know about it.
Dagny and I made some. I don't have any on right now, but we made a bunch of them. We have a
did
bead
you
kit.
go? Yeah, I haven't been to like a concert or anything, but
I've actually got a friend that's going to a concert in France because it was cheaper for him to go in France than it was to buy tickets in the US.
I
Got
believe
chamber
Like the
invites.
whole trip, not just the tickets.
yeah,
It was insane.
I believe that.
Okay, Erin, we'll let you go back to filling spaces. Thank you for taking the time to do this. It was great to catch up and great to hear about Kiln and how great things are going. And I'm going to send you the address of your next
Okay.
location. After you get these next
Got
6 open, you can I'll be waiting for you.
We'll put it on the list.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much. Bye.